and I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us right here on The Right View. We've got a great show for you tonight. But before we start, I'd love to tell you about one of our sponsors, Balance of Nature. If you know anything about me, you know that I take my health pretty seriously. In fact, with each year that passes, when we all get a little bit older, the goal of staying in my healthiest and best shape, of course, takes on more and more importance to me in my life. And feeling good is something I really don't take for granted. It's become an essential goal for me every single day. It's why I work out the way I do. It's why I try to get enough sleep. But it means that there are specific things I have to do in addition to make sure I'm feeling my absolute best. Of course, one of those things is remembering to take Balance of Nature supplements. Want to know how I chose Balance of Nature? I mean, there are so many products out there. It's almost impossible to know that you've actually made the right choice. With Balance of Nature, I know everything I'm taking and putting in my body is made from whole food ingredients, and that is the only thing I really needed to know. If getting more serious about your health is something you've been wanting to commit to, I highly recommend you check out Balance of Nature. You can order them directly at www.balanceofnature.com and make sure you use promo code LARA, L-A-R-A, to get 35% off of your order. And now joining us on the show tonight, we are so excited to welcome, you may know her better as Libs of TikTok, Chaya Raichik. Chaya, welcome to the show. We're so excited to get you on. We didn't know your appearance and who you were, Chaya, for a long time. You were sort of hidden from all of us, but you have made such an impact, I feel like, in the conservative space. How did all of this start? Did you set out with the idea that you were going to really shake things up whenever you finally revealed your identity, and even before you revealed your identity?
Yeah, this is not something that I ever imagined would happen. And I was just like living my life. I was a real estate agent. I was working in a company. And then COVID came and everything shut down. So I have no income. I'm locked in my house. We're not allowed to go outside. We're not allowed to go to the stores. We're not allowed to go to synagogue.
Because where'd you live at the time?
In LA.
Yeah, you lived in LA.
Yeah.
God bless. I mean, that was a rough go out there.
It was really bad. It was
Yeah.
one of the worst. Like we literally couldn't leave our house. So that's really when I started just like getting involved and starting to pay attention to what's going on in this country and politics. I was never really into it before. And then I just started noticing that all of these like TikToks, mainly like COVID related stuff, where they kept like going viral. People like singing about how excited they were to get the vaccine. Meanwhile, like Americans are losing their jobs for not wanting an experimental jab. And then like the Fauci worship, and like it was obvious to everyone from the beginning that he was a crook and he was a liar. So I thought, I was just like, this is so bizarre. So I basically just started sharing those videos and it exploded. I think people just thought it was really funny and entertaining. And then obviously, once I'm on TikTok, I see all this other content that I started really leaning into with like all the grooming stuff and the anti-white racism, doctors, teachers, professionals talking about sexualizing kids. So I thought it was just really scary, and I wanted to warn people. So I started sharing that, and the rest is history.
I mean, it's kind of amazing because as you're saying right now, what you did and the reason that you really got all of this notoriety is because you reposted content, Chaya, that these groups had already publicly posted, people had already publicly posted, and somehow that became such a controversial thing. Somehow that got you labeled as part of a far-right hate group for amplifying it. Like, why all the controversy? Where do you think that comes from? And why is it so problematic that all you are doing is simply reposting content that is already readily available out there to anyone who wants to see it?
So I think a few reasons. Number one, the truth is that they've been doing this for so long. I mean, they hijacked all of our institutions and our schools years ago, and no one was really paying attention or talking about it. So for them, all of a sudden, for their content that was exposing this, all of a sudden to start being shared with groups that they didn't want to see it was just shocking to them, and obviously just destroys their whole narrative. They want to put their content out there and just like exist in their bubble where only people that agree with them see it. And then when other people are seeing it, the reality is their views do not hold up to scrutiny. They discredit themselves when they speak. So they just handle other people seeing them do that.
Yeah, it's kind of wild because you're like you said, as soon as they start talking, they basically discredit themselves. You barely have to try even to do anything these days because these people are so outrageous with some of the stuff that they're putting out there and some of the ways that they're operating, the things like you said they want to do to our kids and the ways they're manipulating our kids and really our entire society here in America. You were kind of behind the scenes of things, right? People knew of the Libs of TikTok account, and obviously it became very famous and everybody was tuning in. Everybody was seeing what else you were going to post and followed you. But how was it for you? What was your reaction in April of 2022 when you were sort of outed for running that account? I imagine maybe you didn't want all of that attention personally and for people to know who you were, right?
Yeah, so as I'm running this account, I'm starting to get a really good sense of how violent and obnoxious the left is and hateful. So I was like, I think I'm going to stay anonymous. There's no reason for anyone to know who I am. I never wanted to be a public figure. I never wanted to be famous. And then obviously the Washington Post reporter decided to share my name and dox me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Leave it to the Washington Post, Chaya, of course. No shocker there. Those people are disgusting over there.
Yeah, exactly. Not just any reporter, but the one who 2 weeks before she showed up at my door, she was crying on TV about how people share stuff about her online, private things about her. And it's so hard for her to deal with.
Amazing how that works.
These people are all just hypocrites. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But so what happened? So she how did it go for you? Did she obviously exposed who you were? And I mean, how did it go from there?
Well, it was the most chaotic week of my life. And I think after that, until today, honestly, I struggle with the balance of like how to be public while not really wanting to be, because I still don't want to be. I never wanted this. And it's like, you know, dealing with like day-to-day life of like, okay, now people know my name, people recognize me in the street, but also staying motivated to do it. And I think that if I didn't really strongly believe in it, in what I was doing in the mission, then I probably would have just stopped and given up after that pretty traumatic and chaotic experience. But I just think that what I'm doing is so important. I think it's helping to save our country, protecting our children. So, you know, that really is what keeps me going every single day.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel sort of the same way. You look, all of us in our family, believe me, if anyone knows how it feels to be attacked, to be scrutinized, to have unwarranted attacks at that level your way, day in and day out. I mean, my best advice, and at this point, it's kind of funny because obviously I've been a member of this family since 2014 officially. I've been with my husband now for almost 16 years. And I don't want to say that it's easy to hear those things now or it feels good or whatever, but you come to a point where you finally realize that these people who say nasty things to you behind the safety of a screen, I would never say this to you in person. These people have nothing better going on than to make accounts on various websites and what have you, and go in and say really awful things about a person they've never met, who they never will meet. It's sort of amazing. But at this point for me, it really doesn't matter. I know who I am, and I know who the people who matter are the people who really know me, and their opinion matters to me, and no one else's truly does. And it does take a while, though, I will say, to get to that point. Because believe me, I remember when we all got kind of thrust into the throes of politics, I was shocked, honestly, at some of the things people would say to me. And where I sort of draw the line is when you say things about my children, because my kids have nothing to do with any of this. And that's why I really appreciate what you are doing. You're right. The things you're working towards right now, it's really for the future of this country. It's so that our children are able to inherit an intact country that is not completely decimated. And you went so far as to write a children's book, No More Secrets, The Candy Cavern. Tell us a little bit about that, why you wanted to do it, what's the book about, and where can everybody find it?
So the problem that we're seeing now in all the schools and institutions and everywhere is they're actually creating policies which basically circumvent the parent. And one of the first steps of grooming a child is to cut out the trusted adults that this child has, like their parents, right?
Yeah.
So it's a relatively new kind of problem that I've been talking about obviously for the past 2 years, and a lot of conservatives have. So I don't think there's really any books out about that. So I decided to write this book, and it basically just teaches kids like how to spot that red flag behavior of like, if an adult, like a teacher or a doctor, a nurse, even like a relative, tries to tell you to keep secrets from your parents or to cut them out, then the kids should know that that's a huge red flag. Tell your parents right away. And obviously it obviously also teaches the family, the importance of the family unit. Like, you have to have that open relationship, parents and children, so that the kid can come to the parent if they think that something might be happening with a different adult who would really be trying to groom them.
Yeah. It's thank you for doing this. Thank you for writing this. Where can people find it? Because honestly, I'd like to get a copy for my kids.
I'll send you a free signed copy.
Well, thank you. But where can everyone else get it?
Yeah, it's on lottbooks.com or on Amazon.
I think it's great. And, it is very scary. My kids are young. They're in pre-K and they're in kindergarten. But even now, I'm trying as a parent to do the best I can to kind of toe that line. Like, you don't want to go too far in one direction because kids naturally kind of revolt and move away. But you don't want to just say, oh, I'll leave it all up to chance. It is so important right now, Chaya, for parents to pay even more attention to what their children are consuming online, in the classroom. This is right now is a very dangerous time. And until we get a handle on our educational system, until we as parents really get involved, and maybe we need to all start taking over school boards all over this country, we have to do a better job of paying attention to what is going on with our kids, what they're watching online, what they're doing in the classroom. Now is the time, right? It's not, let's wait 5 years and see what happens. Now we got to do it.
1,000%. I mean, we waited long enough, and that's how we got to where we are today. And this is something that a lot of people don't realize. And I tell this to everybody I meet if it comes up. The situation is so much worse than anyone even knows. And like, I'm only one person, and there are other accounts that expose this type of thing also. But there's only so many hours in the day. There's only so many posts we can do. There's so much more out there that will never even get exposure. And it's really bad out there. And the left they're smart about it, and they're getting really subtle about it. So like you said, you really have to pay attention to everything that is going through your kids' curriculum in their schools, everything they're watching, everything they're looking at online, because like this garbage is everywhere, and it's really scary.
It really is. I mean, because the ramifications of what's happening to an entire generation of kids right now, I mean, we're going to have a really messed up generation coming up. No doubt, just basic messed up group of people, let alone the kids, Haya, who are mutilating themselves, let alone the kids who are going to school and are able to keep a secret, and the school keeps a secret, that when they get to school, they're called by a different name, they're called by different pronouns, they're called by a different gender than they were born. This stuff is insane. This spike in transgenderism, especially in kids right now, it's an unnatural, impossible spike. It's trendy, it's cool. It allows kids who might otherwise not fit in to start to fit in. And the truth is that once you go to a certain point, you can't come back from that. Once you've given your kid hormone blockers for so long, they will never be the same. Once you've cut off parts of their body, they will never be the same. The stories we hear out there, I think you just alluded to it, are only a small percentage of what is actually going on out there. And so I really hope that parents have paid attention. How big a role do you think this sort of thing will play in the upcoming election? Because obviously we have an election for president of the United States. Man, do we need a 180-degree change right there. But all the way down the ticket, we have people being elected at all different levels of government in our local communities even. How big a role do you think this sort of thing is going to play? Because I can tell you that when you look at the gubernatorial election in a state like Virginia that was blue as it comes, and they elected a Republican governor, it's because parents finally wanted to start taking control. Where do you see this falling in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Virginia, because I was going to mention that. I think that we did kind of see already in 2022, conservatives swept school board races across the country. And of course, the governor of Virginia's race, that was huge, historic. And I think that in 2024, we're only going to see that even more. It's not just going to be, it's going to be elections all over the place, local elections, federal elections. But yeah, I mean, every presidential candidate, every Republican presidential candidate has already promised to ban sex change surgeries for kids, I believe. So I think that those ideas are obviously very important. People are going to be looking out for that. And I expect that we're going to sweep tons of school board races and the local elections too.
Now, I hate to interrupt the show, but if you are anything like me, I'm pretty sure you want to make sure that your hard-earned money is safe after you deposit it into your bank account. Let's face it, our country has so many problems these days under Joe Biden. The last thing any of us needs is more to worry about. Am I right? Unfortunately, we now have to fear losing our freedom and privacy with the Democrats' new push for a digital dollar that could allow the government to tell us what we can and cannot buy with our own hard-earned money. Shocking, but true. And that's why I'm encouraging every one of you tuning into the show right now to get The Secret War on Cash, an insightful report created by my friends at Swiss America. With this report, you will learn how to protect yourself from the threats facing our freedom and your hard-earned money. The report is available right now to my listeners free of charge. Just go to www.swissamerica.com/Trump to register immediately. Yeah, and I would say to people out there too, don't think that you can't do it. You are just as capable as anyone else out there to run for your local school board, to run for some local election, because this stuff really does matter. These are the people who decide what our kids are learning in schools, the curriculum that they are teaching our kids in schools. It really does make a difference. And I would just say, I'd encourage people out there all across this country, get involved. First of all, learn about all the people in your district, learn about all the races, learn about the candidates, where they stand on the issues that truly matter to you and really are impacting your lives. Heck, we've seen in 3 years how detrimental just a president can be in the lives of everyday people all across this country. No one, Chaya, can look at their lives right now and say, I am better off right now than I was when Joe Biden took office. The truth is everything has gone in the wrong direction. The truth is that those sorts of changes in people's lives, I think, really move the needle. And I have to tell you, what I've seen out there and what I've experienced is that people have constantly come up to me and told me, I didn't vote for Donald Trump in 2016. I didn't vote for Donald Trump in 2020. I'm voting for Donald Trump in 2024. I'm done with the Democrat Party. This is a party that left me a long time ago. I think we're going to see a major shift in the electorate here in the United States of America in 2024. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, I think that especially when it comes to the sexualization of kids, it's really sad that the left actually made this a political issue. Like, this shouldn't be Democrat versus Republican, but now it is. And like, yeah, obviously someone who was a Democrat, if they have a bunch of kids in schools and they're seeing what the left is vouching for and endorsing, then they're going to be like, wait, why am I supporting this? So like, when it comes to protecting your kids, people are willing to do a lot of things that they previously weren't willing to. And now the right is the party of protecting childhood innocence. So, I think we're going to definitely see that in 2024.
I sure hope so. We better make some major changes. The left is very obsessed with identity politics. Joe Biden was very excited to tell the entire country that the only reason he chose his running mate, Kamala Harris, was based on how she looked, based on the fact that she was a woman, that she was a minority woman. Forget any other thing that may matter to taking the position as vice president of the United States. She sure has done a heck of a job as the borders are, right? I mean, wink, wink, not out. What a horrific disappointment that one has been. But they're so obsessed, Chaya, with the identity politics. They infuse it in every possible situation. Do you think we ever get back to a spot in America where the left isn't so wholly consumed and obsessed with identity politics in everything they do?
No, I think it's still part of who they are. I think it will get better, but I don't think we'll ever go back to how it was. I mean, the times are changing. They're so consumed with us. It's also, it would mean them admitting defeat, because they have incorporated this into every single aspect of everything they do, literally. So they can't just go and unravel the entire thing. But I mean, we can take steps to kind of slow it down, to maybe, remove it a little bit from certain areas. So I think we can better the situation, but I don't think it's going to be completely removed. No, never.
It's really shocking to look around this country, honestly, and see the way things have changed and rapidly changed. I really believe that if Joe Biden is left in office, or if the Democrats are left. I mean, quite frankly, I'll be honest, and I say this all the time, I don't believe Joe Biden will make it to November 5th, 2024 as the candidate for the Democrats. I cannot believe it. This guy doesn't know what he's doing, doesn't know where he is, can barely get off a stage, can hardly get through a teleprompter speech. Chaya, how the heck are they running this guy in 2024?
Who do you think it's going to be?
See, now this is where I kind of like, I go between a couple of people. I think they've had Michelle Obama on the back burner, ready to go for a long time. They've just been waiting for the right time to springboard her out. Because if you look at her popularity and her likability, she is probably among the most likable Democrats out there. Let's be honest, your old governor in the state of California, Gavin Newsom, who, by the way, while you were locked away, like you said, at home during COVID, this guy's at the French Laundry. He's having a time. Nancy Pelosi's getting her hair done. Don't worry about it. Everyone else stay home. That guy's been ready to run for president his entire life. He's been positioning everything for himself just so that he could just, step on in for old Joe Biden. And you know what? I always say never count out Hillary. Hillary Clinton has, I've never seen a woman so obsessed with running for president and losing every single time she tries to run for president. So for me, I would love another crack at Hillary, but I think for me, it's either between Michelle Obama or Gavin Newsom. Yeah. What do you think?
It's possible. But I think that I think the Epstein stuff might have hindered it for Hillary. So that changes things. I don't know. Obviously, I don't count on anyone getting arrested from it, because these people, they have a different justice system for them, right?
Right, exactly.
But I think it did ruin some of their image. So I don't know. But yeah, Newsom, I think that's a big possibility. If not now, then for sure in 2028. He's obviously going to run at some point. He's just starting his political career. And Michelle, I don't know. I don't know
It'll be interesting to see. I think
Yeah.
that this year coming up, no matter what, let's get involved. Let's pay attention. Let's win in 2024. Because honestly, the future of the country depends on it. We can't leave any of this to chance. So thank you so much for coming on. People obviously can follow you at Libs of TikTok, and tell everybody again where to find the book.
Amazon or lottbooks.com, and then we're at Libs of TikTok everywhere else.
Everywhere else, you want to follow. If you don't already, you're totally missing out. Well, we appreciate you. Keep doing what you are doing because it is so necessary. Chaya Raichik, thanks for joining The Right View. And to everybody at home, as always, thank you for joining us. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow. We'll see you back here next time for more of The Right View.
And I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
Nothing is worse than being on a phone call that drops. Nothing is worse than trying to text someone and you can't reach them because your phone is out of service range. And nothing is worse than supporting these major corporations and companies who don't support us. That is why I love Patriot Mobile. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless network. They use every cell tower out there available to all networks so that they have the greatest 4G and 5G coverage nationwide, and they support the causes that are important to us as conservatives. If you go today to patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump and use the promo code Trump, you will get free activation today. Again, that is patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump. The promo code is Trump for free activation so that you can get a great cell plan and feel good about doing it. My name is Lara Trump, and I think Mike Lindell is a patriot. He is someone who loves this country, is willing to fight for this country. If you go to mypillow.com today and use promo code Trump, again, promo code Trump, you will not only save money, but you will help us continue this show and other shows like it and help us continue the fight for the future of America.